Imagine living in a place where you can have a job, you can build a home, you can raise a family, but you can't die. Sounds impossible, right? Because no matter where you go, death always wins. But in a frozen town on a remote island deep in the Arctic, they've found a way to cheat it, or at least delay it. And the reason behind it? It's not just strange, it's terrifying. Welcome to Longyearbyen, a tiny town on an island buried deep in the Arctic, closer to the North Pole than most humans will ever go. It looks peaceful, frozen, almost untouched. But beneath this snow lies something disturbing, because decades ago, people here made a discovery so terrifying, they changed the rules of life itself. At first, it was just like any other town. People lived here, worked here, and when they died, they were buried here. Nothing unusual. Until one day, someone noticed something strange. Years passed, and the bodies weren't decomposing. They didn't turn to dust, they didn't disappear. Instead, they stayed almost exactly the same. Skin, tissue, even organs, preserved. Like time itself had just stopped. The reason? The ground. Longyearbyen sits on something called permafrost, soil that stays frozen all year round, which means anything buried inside it doesn't rot, it doesn't break down. It just stays there, frozen and unchanged, and that includes human bodies. At first, this seemed like a strange natural phenomenon, almost fascinating. But then the questions started, because when a person dies, they don't just leave behind a body, they leave behind bacteria, viruses, and diseases. And in this frozen ground, those things don't die either. They just wait, silent, hidden, and locked beneath the ice. By the mid-1900s, the fear became impossible to ignore. So in 1950, the town made a decision, a drastic one. No more burials, ever. The cemetery was shut down. And from that moment on, Longyearbyen became something no other place on Earth is. A town where the dead are not allowed to stay. But here's what makes this even more unsettling. When they made that rule, they didn't fully understand the danger. They were acting on fear, on suspicion, because the real truth hadn't been discovered yet. And when it finally was, it changed everything. Back in 1918, one of the deadliest pandemics in human history reached this island, the Spanish flu. A ship arrived carrying workers, and with it, the virus. Within days, 7 miners fell sick and died. They were buried together deep in the frozen ground, and slowly they were forgotten. Until 1998, when a group of scientists came back with a terrifying question. What if the virus was still there, frozen inside those bodies, preserved and waiting? So they decided to find out. They dug up the graves carefully, wearing protective suits and working in controlled conditions, because no one knew what they were about to uncover. And what they found was chilling. The virus wasn't completely gone. Fragments of it were still there, alive enough to be studied after 80 years. Let that sink in. A deadly virus, frozen in the ground, surviving decades. And suddenly, the town's fear didn't seem crazy anymore. Today, the rule is taken very seriously. If someone in Longyearbyen becomes seriously ill, they are immediately flown to mainland Norway. Not treated here, not kept here, because if they die, their body cannot remain on the island. It must be taken away, as if death itself is not allowed to exist here. And it doesn't stop there. This town has other unusual rules. Pregnant? You can't give birth here. There's no proper maternity facility, so weeks before your due date, you're sent away. Getting older, too sick, or needing long-term care, you can't stay. This isn't a place to live your whole life. It's a place for the young, the healthy, and the temporary. Even daily life feels different here. Polar bears roam just outside the town. Step beyond the safe zone, and you're expected to carry a rifle. Homes are built on stilts to survive the shifting frozen ground. And strangely, cats are completely banned, because even one cat could disrupt the fragile Arctic ecosystem. But the real danger is still beneath the surface, because as the Earth warms, that permafrost is slowly melting, and scientists are now warning that what's buried there might not stay buried forever. Ancient bacteria, old viruses, diseases humanity hasn't seen in centuries, all of it could come back. So Longyearbyen made a choice, a strange one, a chilling one. They didn't try to stop death. They simply refused to keep it. Because in a place where the ground never forgets, where bodies never disappear, and where diseases can survive for generations, death isn't just an ending, it's a threat. And maybe that's why on this island, you're allowed to live, but never to die. And the next time you think death is unavoidable, just remember, somewhere on this planet, there's a place that found a way to push it away.